Oh, good boy. You're so good. Good boy. We have now started our preparations for Sundancer's first ride, which is so exciting. And I want to start him in the neck rope. So one very important aspect here is learning how exactly to steer with the neck rope. We've done a lot of previous work, working on teaching him how to respond correctly to pressure, that you move away from pressure, not into it. So it has made teaching him steering in the beginning with this neck rope fairly easy, as he already understands the basic concept of move away from the pressure. As you can see here, I'm just holding the top of the neck rope as I would as if I was on his back, and I'm pushing it away from me so that he doesn't think that I am the cue. So if I was pulling it towards me, he might get confused and think that he's just supposed to be moving towards me. I want to do it both ways, and we'll get to some clips later in this video where I'm pulling the rope towards me just to ensure he is moving off the pressure, not off of the placement of my body. And you might notice here and there he might take a step forward or backwards before getting the correct direction, which is away from the pressure to the side. And that's okay, because remember, positive reinforcement training is like sculpting. So we're ignoring all the things we don't want and rewarding for what we do want. And right there you can see he's really starting to get a hang of this steering. And when we're first teaching our horse something, it's very important that we only ask for one step in the beginning until they understand the concept. Here, Sundancer had some confusion once I moved to his other side, so I have enlisted our friend the target for some help in reinforcing which direction he's supposed to be moving and to clear up that confusion. And as you'll see, he's now getting the hang of it. Still no force necessary, and I'm making sure to reward the smallest try. So even if he just shifts his weight like we see here, he's still going to be rewarded for that. And once he is taking one full step, that is a huge win in my book, because that is the first step to understanding how to turn while being ridden with just a neck rope. Now, I've been turning him in the same direction this whole time, so when I move to the other side, you can see there's a little bit of confusion and he keeps wanting to go the same direction. So I try to use the target again, but my arm's not long enough, so I decide to try and see if I can put it over his back to help clear up the confusion about the situation, and he gets it right away. So guys, just remember that improvising is a huge part of horse training. It's so important to be able to improvise on the fly. Next, I'm just simply working on jumping up and down next to him. I'm not going to jump onto his back just yet. I just want to make sure that he's not going to lose it and take off across the pasture when I just jump up next to him. And this is something that often gets skipped over, and it can even cause the horse to have a big reaction. Even if they're okay when we get on, well, we have to, slide off, and that could be quite scary. So this part of training is just getting him used to my body sliding down him and going up and down in the air next to him, which is not a typical thing that we've been doing. So super important to get him used to. And the third really big preparation we've been making for the first ride is our walk cue from the ground. So I really want to solidify what the walk cue means. So here I'm just using the target to ask him to move forward. We'll change directions, and I'll even change positions here in the next clip. And we're all just working on, when I say the cue walk, he walks, then I click and reward. One of the biggest problem areas with first rides in horses is the rider gets up there and maybe the horse is okay, but they haven't been taught how to move forward. They've never been taught a cue on the ground that means to go forward. So it gets a little bit sticky, and you might have to have a ground man or something like that. So my walk cue is going to help us totally avoid it. Okay, guys, and this is part 1 of 2 of preparations for the first ride in Sundancer's series, so be sure to stay tuned.